Please stay subscribed, okay? Just please stay subscribed. Please stay subscribed. Okay, anyway, yes, I know what you guys are thinking. Where the flip is my review of the Captain Underpants movie? Relax, okay? Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Okay, so, I've known that my subscribers have gone up a lot in the past week, and I can only assume that's because people want to know exactly when my review of the Captain Underpants movie comes out. Please don't hurt me. I haven't seen it yet. What the fuck am I gonna say? Relax, okay? But, there was a disturbance. Another disturbance. Oh, this is a disturbance. All you guys who subscribed because in the past week because you want to know exactly when my review of the Captain Underpants movie comes out, there is no reason to unsubscribe now. Let me just make it clear. There's no reason to unsubscribe because my review will come out. I won't be able to see the movie this weekend or this week in general. I promise you I will see it before summer break. I'll make that a deadline. I'll see it before summer break. That's my promise. I'm sorry, but stuff has gone down and I just can't see it. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not really sure if I want to spend the money because I'm already spending a lot of money doing other stuff. Okay, so are we clear on that? All of you guys who subscribed, please don't unsubscribe. There is no reason for you to unsubscribe. Unsubscribing will not make the video come any faster or slower. So, let's just move on. Here's my review of Captain Underpants Book 11. It's a Captain Underpants video. So, at least that's something. Alright, where's the stupid book? Sorry, I have these in order that I've received them, so I can always have memories on where I got each book. Oh, wait. Here it is. So, Captain Underpants and the Tyranical Retliation of the Turbo Toilet 2000. This is the first book in the series where I was a Captain Underpants fan when it came out. Well, I guess the same was for book 10, but I was, caught up on the series by that point. I first, when I was really little, I thought that Captain Underpants was stupid because I was like how most adults were. I judged it by the title. It said Underpants. Sounded inappropriate. I didn't want to be one of those disappointing kids. But then in grade 5, I went to a different school and all the kids were reading them. So I decided, maybe book 1 is worth a shot. So then I read book 1 and I actually quite enjoyed it. And then I read book 2 and then I read book 3. And of course they all cost money. So, I mainly got them from the library, actually. As you can see from my collection where I said that I got them in order that I received them, book 10 is actually the very first book that I got. This is because I mainly got them from the library, but then still I had to wait, because a lot of people were getting them, so I had to wait for the book to eventually come to my possession. Eventually I got caught up, and then by the time I read book 9, book 10 had been out for a few months, and then my grandma got it for my birthday, and that's when I started collecting Captain Underpants books. And then book 11 came out, and I can remember when I saw the title, and me and my friend were coming up with all types of theories, like how there were 2 Georges and Harolds, hinting that time travel might get a little bit complicated. One of the eggs had a crack in them, hinting that they might hatch. Captain Underpants was in the Turbo Toilet 2000, hinting that he might get eaten by it again. It's funny now that I still have this sticker on it saying that it's a new Captain Underpants adventure, despite it came out in 2014, which is ages ago by now. So as always, we start off with an introduction that starts off with George and Harold starting us off with a comic that starts off saying everything that happened in the first 10 books, or at least everything that's important. They kind of leave out a few details at this point. I kind of like these parts here where it just kind of shows, because it starts off with just explaining how he became Captain Underpants, and then it only shows the villains that he fought without superpowers. Then they explain how they got the juice, and then they show him all the villains. Well, except for the Zorks, Clax, and Jennifer and their evil selves and stuff like that. But then all the ones that he was fighting when he did have superpowers. Though oddly, after they explain how he got superpowers and how to make him into Captain Underpants and Mr. Crumb, they just kind of abandon explaining what happened in book 6 onwards, because pretty much you should have just read the books by now. Seriously, Dave Pilkey, it would have been so easy to just paste the number on the spine so that people knew which book they were buying. But anyway, I guess a true Captain Underpants fan would have to know which book they're buying. But anyway, instead, he just conveniently explains how on their second adventure, the toilets got brought to Uranus, and in the 5th adventure, Harold kicked a ball into outer space. And then it says, could these two events be connected? I remember first reading this and I was like, oh my god! So anyway, he brings George, Harold, and Captain Underpants and the eggs back to just after Tippy Tinkletrousers went off to the Cretaceous period to fight off them. And then we have a nice conveniently low butt joke. Haha, very funny, Dave Filky, stop it. So, the ball finally reaches Uranus, which I guess is realistic. We don't really know exactly how strong those robots were, although Wicked Wedgie Woman was pretty super intelligent. But then again, they weren't at their mega size. They were programmed to go into mega size as soon as they saw Captain Underpants, so it's possible that their strength was not as strong at that. I don't know. But anyway, so the ball conveniently hits the robo plunger thing, his head falls off, and then all of a sudden, that causes photoatomic transomgobulating yectofan triplatonic zazinpontomistic juice, and to fall out into the turbotonist's mouth, which somehow brings him back to life or something like that. I don't know. He was made by a photocopy thing. Like basically, like Melvin is so smart though. If he could create a machine that could cause this much tragedy, that could cause things to destroy the planet. But seriously, saying some of these names is as hard as saying Mixispidlic. So anyway, we get a really complicated origin story as to how Melvin got that octopus thing. We have another conveniently nice little bit joke, yeah, haha, very funny. What's kind of funny though is that this origin story actually has to do more with how Melvin knew that they were in the future, and less to do about where he got the octopus time machine. In fact, the book literally pretty much just goes, he had already made it before, so he just took it out of the garage and, I wanted to know, so, he just conveniently made it. He just made it, apparently. He just made it. But yeah, it's really complicated where Melvin gets superpowers and stuff like that. Again, just read the book. I don't have time to explain it all right now, otherwise this video would be super long. But yeah, I shouldn't be spoiling it for you. Just read the book. It's really good. So anyway, back in the present or the past or the future, I don't know. The timeline's pretty screwed up by this point. But anyway, so Melvin then disappears, leaving George, Harold, Captain Underpants, and the 3 eggs. And then we never find out where he goes, actually. He just disappears and then never comes back. I guess that you could argue that he was erased from existence, seeing as the present Melvin would have never done all that stuff now, but still, he must have, typed in some time coordination, so if he did just get erased from the timeline during this jump, where was he planning to go, and what was he planning to do? Then comes the scene, where I'm pretty much all of us can agree, if we were kids when we first read this book kinda traumatized us for a little bit. Okay. This was obviously made because this was obviously made for Dave Pilkey to get revenge on his parents for not letting him sleep. Whether this was when he was a kid or a teenager or something. I mean, in my opinion, sleep is a waste of time, and if I had the opportunity to never have to sleep again, of course I would take it. I mean, as long as there's no negative effects, but think about how much extra time you would have. Dave Pilkey conveniently states that for George and Harold's time, throughout their adventures, they hadn't slept in the past 30 hours. Because they had, the last time that they slept properly was in book 8. Now this is book 11. So throughout the entirety of book 9, book 9, nothing real. In book 9 it's kind of all reset. In book 9 it's kind of just George and Harold do sleep, and then it gets reset in book 10. Yeah, it gets really complicated, but yeah. So overall they haven't slept in 30 hours, so any hard nerd mathematicians who want to figure out how long it took for each of them to do their own thing with the caveman, stuff like that, go ahead. But this means that in book 10, when they were being chased by Tippy Tinkletrousers, which somehow didn't make the news, the parents are all like, hey, you missed a day at school, you gotta do chores. And Jordan Hill is just like, we haven't slept in 30 hours, can we just please have a nap, and then we'll do our stupid chores? You're gonna talk like that, will you? Well then go do the chore. By the way, what happened to Harold's dad? I mean, I don't want to bring, any depressing, stories about, anyone who did really lose one of their parents, but, is it ever revealed what happened to his dad? And then it's revealed that they spent another 5 hours without sleep, this time working the heck out of their lives. And then it turns out that they didn't study for tests happening the next day, and they had to study all night. Like, seriously, like, what were they planning to accomplish? Like, why would the parents even let them go to school this day? I mean, like, look at them. No one would let their kid go to school, even if they were begging to, if they looked like this. So George and Harold end up not going to school and just kind of sleep again, kind of on accident. And then it turns out that their parents didn't find out about them missing school, because Mr. Crump had a different plan. It turns out that when you add up all their grades minus the test that they had to do, George can move on to 5th grade just move on to 5th grade. And Harold failed.
I'm going to have you two placed in separate classes. We're going to annihilate your friendship.
But hang on a second. First off, I don't think that in elementary school... Can you really fail anything in elementary school? And there isn't final exams in elementary school, is there? I don't know. I never experienced that thing. And I thought that under 50 was a failing grade, not under 40. I don't know, maybe it's different where Dave Pilkey lives. Anyway, then they go back in time and do the test, in which they find their past selves. And now there's 4 of them. Yay! So what do these 4 do now that they have a new problem? Do they try to fix it like all the other characters realistically in the other books? No, they do what all of us would be thinking if we had a time machine. Like, the very first thing that I would do if I had a time machine was first probably fix a few mistakes. But then, when I'm ready to just continue on with my life, I just go back in time like 5 minutes, pick up my past self, and then, yeah, we'd take turns going to school. Though I would probably say our turn shifts every week instead of every day. But still, they still end up going to school half the time. Like, seriously, yay for everything. Then Dave Hilke decides to go a little bit realistically. Because I can only assume that one of their fans said, like, George and Harold didn't sleep through that book 10. Why are they not tired? And stuff like that. And Dave Hilke was just like, fine, we'll make this as realistic as possible. Where do they pee? Oh, they pee into these balls and then pour them at the window. Like, that's kind of gross. We then get introduced to Superman. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Superman movies recently. Super Diaper Baby 2.5, with special appearance of Dogman. And at the end, we end on a cliffhanger. Yep, still waiting for the next book, Dave Pilkey. And you better pick up where this left off. I mean, like, seriously, like, but then, like, anyone who just reads the Super Diaper Baby might miss this comic. So this comic must be tacked on to the beginning of Super Diaper. I don't know. I can just imagine how ticked off Dave Pilkey must have been when he was thinking of his teachers and stuff like that. Because here's what happens, right? For a reason that you'll have to read the book to find out. It's actually pretty simple, but I still won't tell you. George and Harold go to the school in which all the teachers see, oh my gosh, there's 4 of them now. And then they get convinced it's a dream and decide they can do anything. And then they do something which is probably best unshown in this video. We have a nice shout out to book 5 where Mr. Crump gets so confused again that he ends up saying baba hub hubba hubba wham wham. So everyone gets put into jail except for Mr. Crump, who didn't really do anything wrong, but now he seems like a maniac, so he goes into the mental hospital where the guy carries a net. What does he need the net for? Why do these guys have baseball bats and he has a net? So then the turbo toilet attacks, and George and Harold break him out of the mental hospital and turn him into Captain Underpants, where we have the epic fight scene, where of course Captain Underpants wins, but then Turbo Toilet is so upset that he got defeated that he cries all over Captain Underpants. Yeah, you know what happens. There's then this scene where George and Harold, like, their other selves are about to die, and George and Harold don't have a way of, like, informing themselves. I think it would have been kind of cool if Dave Pilkey just kind of made it so, like, since they're the same person, they could kind of just, like, telepathically communicate. I have a scene where George and Harold are just jerked. A jerk. Shout out to book 1. Jerk. Okay, anyway, George and Harold are jerked. Okay, anyway, they're thrown around the treehouse, and then we have all these teases for the next upcoming Captain Underpants books. Let's see, what do we got? Book 'em, Dogman. Yeah, that came out eventually. What is this? The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, the Dark Knight Rises. Okay. I don't think that came out. Dogman 2, The Wrath of Petrie, I think that came out.
And then we have these certain pages right here. Yeah, that came out in like the end of Captain Underpants book 2 in full color, I think. And this, yeah, I think that was like in one of the Dogman books. So yeah, I think all of these got released except for The Dark Knight Rises.
And then the eggs. Well, the eggs smash. And then they hatch. I can only assume that they must have, like, just been ready to hatch just as this happened. Because, like, kids, like, don't just go around with chicken eggs that were just made and just smash them open and hope they get a little chicklet, because you'll probably end up killing them. They need time to, like, evolve inside the egg. And then it's just a half hamster, half pterodactyl. Because apparently Sulu and Crackers, and kids, you'll find out what they did when you're older. You'll find out what they did. And then Harold's face is just priceless as he just looks at the thing. I mean, just imagine, like, him just staring back with just a blank face, and Harold's just looking at him like this.
Anyway, the three of them work together to save the day and kill the monster by utterly murdering him in the middle of the city, where Mr. Clump is saved because of his superpowers, and the city's wrecked, and they all live happily ever after. I think this is the first time where it doesn't really end on a solid cliffhanger. Is that a thing? Like a solid cliffhanger and a fluid cliffhanger? Is something like that, or like along the lines of that, like actually a thing? If it isn't, let's make that. Guys, we'll work together. Every time that someone coughs, we'll say cough you. Okay? We'll make that a thing. Everyone, let's band together and make that a thing. Whenever someone coughs from here on out, we will reply with cough you. And then we will spread that across the planet. But anyway, we will also spread around solid cliffhangers and fluid cliffhangers. Unless something like that has been already been made. But anyway, a solid cliffhanger is when there's actually an event that needs resolving, like in every other book since here. Like the characters are in danger of some sort, we think, and then it needs resolving right now. But this one's just kind of a fluid cliffhanger. Not really anything's wrong, just there's too many open endings that need resolved in the sequel. I must admit, I was kind of disappointed to find out that there was nothing really special at the end. It was just the announcement of the sequel, and then pretty much a biography of Dave Pilkey as a child, which is pretty much the exact same as what we've already read. So anyway, this book was brought to you by Dave Pilkey, the creator of the entire Captain Underpants series. Read the books. Enjoy the books. Read the spin-offs. Enjoy the spin-offs. And I'll see you next time where I review the next book in the series. Captain Underpants is the sensational saga of Sir Stinks-a-Lot. It's not really a saga, it's just one book, but it says saga, so I don't know. I'll see you there. Bye-bye. Is that Mr. Meaner? Yes, it is. You'll find out. Bye.